Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Give 'em Heck podcast. I'm Brian. This is your host, Penny, and we're very happy to be back. We hope you enjoyed last week's live stream. It went really well. We definitely got into some interesting conversations in that. I had some friends who saw it, responded to some of the things that I said, and they understood where I was coming from, and they could see that for those of you that didn't watch the live, it was about what did you have it titled?
Hindrances.
No, you had it as oh man, what was it? Geez, we forgot the name of our own episode. It's been a busy week.
It has been a busy week. Oh my word.
Dealing with the negatives.
Dealing with the negative.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not it. Hindrances. I've said no. You're right.
Yeah, dealing with the negatives. Yeah, forgive that little brain fart. We're human. Yeah, the concept of the episode was just basically figuring out, depending on who you are and your circumstances through life, and a lot of it was personal, like with me, things that I've dealt with, and examples of just how we've given in so much to the negatives of life, how people can treat us, how the world treats itself, how the justice system and other things like that. Like, it went deep. We could have gone deeper. We could have gone a lot deeper, but we wanted to keep it surface level. Yeah, there's a lot of things in this world that I think we as people, we've lost
compassion.
We've lost compassion. We've lost empathy. And I think it's good to hear that on a more self-aware way.
Yep.
Because it helps people not only deal with the negatives of life, because everybody deals with negatives, but it takes a really strong individual to confront those things, to stand up for what's right, to stand up for yourself, to basically stand in the face of a lie and learn and grow from it.
Yep.
It does help.
It does.
It does. Anybody who just gives into it can really bring themselves down a wrong path.
Yep.
But so we also want to say we got a few announcements, but I want to apologize for those of you that watched the original. I had to edit the original one, and for some reason, and unless somebody can tell me otherwise, it didn't allow me to override the unedited version, because once I edited it, it said save as a copy. I didn't want to save it as a copy. I wanted it to override. So when the live got uploaded, it got uploaded to videos instead of the live tab. So, but I did mark it, so we got views on it, so that's good. Hopefully next week we won't make that same mistake. But also, good news. After all of this time, we have finally made a TikTok.
That was so much fun.
It was.
I loved it.
We recorded an intro episode. Forgive in advance if it's a little awkward.
It's always awkward at first.
Always awkward. We always got to kind of find our footing on things. So, but it gets the point across. We look forward to bringing you guys some really interesting ideas for it. We have a rough idea of what we want to do with it, but do expect uploads on that, probably more so than YouTube, because I do plan, like, if things happen to me on my everyday journey, I do plan on uploading videos. You may see both of us in them. You may see one of us.
Right.
We have ideas.
Right.
So I will be posting a link to the TikTok in the description.
Right.
So please follow us on there. It'll help out a lot to spread the word.
It's at the Give 'em Heck.
It's the Give 'em Heck official. Like I said, you'll see the link in the description. We did put official because we don't need any fake accounts.
Right.
There's only one.
There can only be one.
There can only be one. And another facet of social media, we have made a page on Facebook. So not only will those of you who have X be able to see our stuff, but if you have a Facebook, we'll be posting that in the description below. Feel free to follow us on there.
Facebook, yep.
On the Facebook page, we'll be posting uploads to videos. It gives you a place to comment. We encourage you to leave comments on that page to communicate with us directly if you don't want to email us. But it'll give us more room for engagement, I think.
Yeah.
We're really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was that everything? I believe that was everything.
I think so.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, without further ado, let's get into today's episode.
Okay. So I just want to say thank you and welcome again to all of our regular viewers, and welcome to any new viewers that we have, and join us on all these platforms that Brian just mentioned. And I'm going to start with reading our disclaimer that we are not doctors, psychologists, or counselors. We are not given any medical or psychological advice. We're just simply here to discuss real life situations to give hope, encouragement, and instill change. So in last week's episode, not the live one, the regular episode, we talked about purpose in the fire.
That's right.
Yeah, the last two have been really good. 25 went along with 20. Yeah, it was 24. I'm sorry. 24 went with 25. 25 is going to go with this one. So if you haven't been keeping up and you're just
it's kind of a mini series.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah.
Yes.
We didn't want to put parts, but they all are related.
They are all related. And so if you want to go back to get a little bit more context of where this all kind of started, I would say start at episode 24 and then watch 25, and then today's obviously will go along with all of that. And that might give you a little bit more background, a little bit more content to
for sure.
what's going on. So I had asked you, Brian, with our last episode, Purpose in the Fire, what does purpose in the fire mean to you? Do you remember? It seems so long ago.
I know. Since we've been spacing out our episodes a little bit with the live streams, it's hard to keep track of everything. Purpose in the fire. I mean, I guess I can reiterate on what it would mean to me in this state instead of remembering exactly what I said. It's finding your path through trial.
That's it.
Is that actually what I said?
That's pretty close, if not.
Is that pretty close?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like finding that, it's like finding your goals and your aspirations and your path through trial, through failure, through struggle. It can make or break you.
It can.
It definitely can.
Yeah, because you can lose your way.
Yeah, you can lose your way. You can get discouraged. It's very easy to fall down a very bumpy road.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't like to think that the storm will end.
Yeah. And it does.
It always does. Some storms just take longer than others. And that's okay.
Yeah. Because sometimes there's lessons learned, right? And lessons that need to be learned.
Exactly. And there's nothing more discouraging than going through a trial to give into it.
Right.
Or to let it control you, or to trip and fall. And I do have a story that could go alongside that, but we'll get to it.
Okay.
When we get to it.
Okay. So I believe, Brian, that, and I think I know I said this, that finding your purpose means being who you really are. See, we wear masks, don't we?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and everything is so surfaced. But I think the important thing when you're being through the fire, you really find out who you are. You find out your strengths and your weaknesses. But I also think through finding your strength and your weaknesses, becoming who you really are allows you to give yourself permission to be that person. Because people try to shape you, right? They try to conform you to be what the world thinks that you should be.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
No.
I think you should always be, because you and Dad always say to me all the time, you're crazy. But I like to have fun. It's just who I am. And some people don't know how to take me. But you know what? I like to say things sometimes.
All the time.
Okay. That surprise them as much as what surprises me that comes out of my mouth. But that's me.
Yeah.
And I know that some people that can't handle that, they'll say things or they'll just walk away, and I'm okay with it. You know what? Because maybe that's where you're at right now. And maybe at the end of the day, I'm just too much to handle, but I'm not going to apologize for who I am.
Well, I think a lot of the thing, too, is with people like you and I who are willing to say things that are outside of the box, outside of the norm, is that
Yes.
people have gotten so molded by their surroundings,
Yes.
whether it's through friends, family, even sometimes society. People forget that you don't have to be a carbon copy of everybody else.
Right.
You can branch out.
Thank you.
And, there's nothing wrong with that. But I've noticed that too, where people just want, like, people get stuck in a bubble of copy and paste.
Cookie cutters.
Yeah. It's like, if it's not normal to me, then it shouldn't be there. Like,
Who says?
Who said? And where's the fun in that?
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. And who are they?
Yeah.
They are the people that need to change because they can't.
Anybody who tries to conform you to their lifestyle because they don't like the way you're acting are people that they themselves need to change.
Right. Right.
I 100% agree with that.
And that's what I always tell my
Like, that
students.
doesn't mean that everybody needs to get along. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of, like, if my personality doesn't mesh with this person, you have every right to walk away. That doesn't mean you hate them.
Right.
Or doesn't even give you the right to hate them. It just means, they're not the type of person I want to be around. But to discourage that person for being different.
Thank you.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Right. And I always encourage my students, you know what? Be you. Because you're an individual. It's boring when we're all the same. I don't want to be like you. I can like things that you like. I can like to do things with you that we both like to do, but I'm not you.
Well, it's even like thinking the same. Like, what's wrong with having somebody in your life that thinks differently than you do? And it could be, again, like I think I said this in the live stream. It's like, you can have a good reaction to somebody who thinks differently than you. It doesn't make them a bad person. Doesn't make you a bad person. You are not the same as everybody else. Everybody has opinions for different reasons. And it's important to humble yourself in those situations, especially if it's somebody you want to get closer to or want to understand. It doesn't help when you bombard them with your mindset or your feelings, your opinions, whatever the case may be. People need to learn to humble themselves, because being humble opens up a whole new world of possibilities. You can mix ideas, you can expound on ideas. Sometimes even minds get changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what good would all of that wonder do if we all just thought the same? We're not machines.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's great to be different.
It is.
Because you not only do other people learn about you and who you are, but you learn so much about yourself. You start
when you
to
let
be
yourself
comfortable.
out,
Yes.
when you let yourself out, you start to see the things that maybe you've wanted your entire life, you just never had the courage to get.
Right. Or be.
Or discover. Yeah. It really is fascinating meeting all of the people that I meet, because I meet people from all over the world. And it's amazing to me how similar we all are, but also how different we all are.
Right.
You know? Like,
yeah. I think we need to learn to take our mask off.
yeah.
I love
Within
shocking
reason,
people. I
within
think it's
reason.
great.
I do know that some people can take that to an extreme. Like, one of my friends was like, I'm just going to start being me. They're not my friend anymore for reasons that I'll get into right here. They said, I'm just going to start being me because I'm tired of what's happening around me. And they turned into a jerk.
Is that who they really want to be, though? I think deep down that's not really
It probably wasn't what they wanted.
No, they're just acting out of hurt.
Well, and see, that's the thing. You got to really realize what that means. And when I say be you, I'm not talking about giving in to the anger. I'm talking about taking the proper steps to be a person that you know you can be and the person you want to be.
Be decent.
Be decent. Yeah, but again, for clarification, when I say be you, I'm not saying be the jerk you want to be, because some people do find, I think
pleasure in that.
I don't know if we talked about it directly in last week's episode, during the live stream, to clarify, but some people just like to be mean.
Well, that's because their inner being needs
I know we've
healing.
talked about that in other episodes.
It needs healing. There's obvious, because when you act like that, there's things in your life that you have not confronted or dealt with.
Oh yeah, it's very deep. It's not nobody just wakes up one day and says, I'm going to be mean. Something had to have happened to bring them to that point. And they're inadvertently avoiding the pain
Right.
by inflicting it.
Yeah, because there's no peace there.
Yeah.
You can tell when someone is at peace with themselves and someone that's still struggling.
Yeah.
And we're all at different places, and that's respectable. But, because you need to take time with yourself to grow, to be that better person.
Absolutely.
But other people need to be patient with you too.
Well, I think it comes with a level of self-awareness too.
Absolutely.
And it goes in line with the story that I have, that I don't know if there'll be a better time to get into it, but to give basically a long story short, and if we find the time to go in more depth about it, we will. But I had a friend this weekend who she basically ruined she ruined a good opportunity over a simple misunderstanding.
It's too bad.
It is, because I can tell she wanted to have this position, but because of the way that she acted during a situation that proves the point that she wasn't ready for this.
Yeah.
All it was a simple communication, just a simple communication thing. But she blew it so far out of proportion that it almost made it look like we were bullying her. Even though we even tried to keep her in the position after the misunderstanding, but she kept turning it down. But then she goes behind us and starts saying things that weren't even like what we were implying. Like, she was saying she wasn't worthy, that she's useless, and all of this stuff. And it, like I said, it was just a simple misunderstanding. And that's the kind of person that I think is not self-aware. They do the things that they don't want to do. They end up driving people away that they don't want to drive away. And I'm not going to speak badly of her.
Right.
But I'm going to call out the behavior as a really good example as to why it's important to humble yourself in every situation. Because if she had just approached it from a position of humility, it would have been taken care of. And things would have continued on as if nothing was wrong.
Right.
But instead, she wanted to victimize herself because she was looking for validation when all she had to do was humble herself. And that's hard for some people. It is. I won't sit here and say that, surrendering to a humble position is easy. To some people, it's not. But at some point, you have to.
Yeah. So what's the underlying issue there with her? What makes people continue to want to be the victim or not humble themselves? Am I explaining that correctly?
It's different for every case.
Okay.
I think it can stem from home choices, lifestyle, things that have happened in their past.
Yeah.
I would encourage her to get, and I say this with absolute respect, but she does need professional help. Like, she's at that point where she needs something more than just somebody to talk to her. Because even the last conversation we had, I lifted her up a lot. I told her that she did not need to beat herself up over this, that she did not need to call herself the things that she was calling herself, that she's better than that. And she ignored all of it. She denied all of it.
Wow.
And that just goes to show how deep the problem can get.
Yep. Yep.
But it takes years to get to that point. It's not something that just happens overnight. And that's why we even encourage people in our own show that if you need help, to reach out to people who can help. And that doesn't just mean your friend. It can mean professional help. There's nothing wrong with reaching out for help.
Yeah, absolutely. And tonight's podcast does kind of go with that, Brian. But one of the things I had asked you, because right now we're talking a little bit about being who you really are. And that was part of the, not last week, but the week before podcast. One of the questions I asked you was, do you ever feel like there is more to who we are? And your answer was yes. Did you want to expound on that a little bit more before I...
No, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's kind of like the case of my friend, is that when you've been through as much as somebody like me, like I've been through a lot in my life, and I've always tried to establish that There's people that go through worse than me, but if I can come out of the pit that I was in,
Yeah.
somebody lower in that pit can also come out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But a lot of people just, for some reason, either just want to stay in the pit or they just want to let go.
Is it because you think they can't? They think they can't come out?
It's easier to let go. It's easier to fall deeper into the pit. The problem is falling deeper into the pit just brings more issues that you didn't want.
Right. That now you got to resolve.
That now you gotta deal with more.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I say more to who you are or we are, this is what I mean. I think it is possible that there is more to us than we actually think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think we're very powerful as people, but we limit ourselves. And I think that can contribute to, like you said, Brian, home life, friends, society,
Mm-hmm.
social, well, you know, what you see on social media, you know, what you've been told your whole life in any situation, that I think sometimes, well, they'll either tear you up or build you up. You know what I mean? Tear you down or build you up, I should say.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's hard to find yourself again through some of these things, because it changes your way of thinking. It changes the point of view of who you are, or who you think you are, or what you are.
Yeah. Well, I think too, it can also cloud your vision of just the good things that you have. Like in the case of my friend, you know, my friend was in a very good position, and because of her outburst, she didn't just lose her position, she lost friends because of it.
Yeah.
You know, and I always encourage people and tell them that, you know, hey, you know, you made a mistake. Doesn't make you the bad person, it just makes you human.
Mm-hmm.
But don't beat yourself up over it, or don't even allow yourself to, you know, don't talk yourself down,
Right.
because that was her problem. I gave her advice,
Mm-hmm.
or not advice. I wouldn't say advice. I really didn't give her any advice, because I'm not the kind of person that really likes to answer questions without being asked, if that makes sense. I like to offer advice based on circumstance, but when I'm listening to somebody talk about things, I listen.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they give me the opportunity to respond, I will. But everything I said, she rejected. And I look at that, and like you said, there's more to us than we think. I look at her and I'm like, the energy that she's putting into denying herself, imagine how much more powerful she would be if she put all of that energy towards being positive.
Yep.
And it's just putting the energy in the wrong place. To me, there's no such thing as good energy or bad energy, so to speak. It's just the way you direct it.
Yeah.
It's like a flowing pipe of water. You can have that same pipe going into a ditch, or you can have it going into, you know, a water recycling plant.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the water that changes, it's its destination.
Direction. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. So we had also talked about, because I said to you, is it possible that there's more to us than we think? And we really kind of got deep into that. And then I said, I feel that it's about breaking free or waking up. Because people like your friend, you know, coming to that decision of, you know, instead of thinking positive or being positive or rearranging her thinking to think she's, what could you say, worthy of that, of what you guys were encouraging her to be. Maybe she's just not at a place right now to do that. But when I say we think that there's more to us than what we are, the people that are coming out of that negative thinking, I think, are waking up. Yeah. And wanting to break free from that, because I know that's where I am.
I consider breaking free and waking up two different things, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, wow, okay.
Because when you tell me you want to break free, it's somebody who acknowledges that they're in a bad place, but somebody who wants to strive to be better.
Okay.
somebody who wants to receive help to get better, somebody that wants to continue pushing through barriers to finally break those chains that hold them down, to break free. When you say wake up, that describes my friend, where she is in an endless spiral. She's in a dreamland, a place she can't wake up from, a place where she's just constantly allowing herself to fall deeper.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to break free. Even though she could probably say in a sentence, "Oh yeah, I wish I wasn't like this," but she doesn't do anything to fix it. She's not putting strain against the chains. She's allowing them to hold her in place. So to me, when I say they're two different things, I see breaking free as somebody who's putting in effort.
So how does someone wake up? Because you look at it from two different
Sometimes,
perspectives.
yeah. To me, somebody like in her position, how does she wake up? She has to hit the bottom first.
That's exactly what when you've had enough.
Yeah.
And you realize that this spiral it's not working for you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that it has to be, but some people have
But
to hit bottom.
sometimes you have to go through the fire. You know, sometimes you're going to go around that mountain more than once before you learn that maybe it's time for a change, right?
Sometimes you do.
And there'll be a time that you'll stop going around that mountain.
Yep. Sometimes the fall for some is longer than others.
Yeah, unfortunately, right?
It is. It's very sad.
So I had told you that breaking free or waking up, to me, that it involves deep thinking and lots of questions. I believe the answer to these questions starts with and involves spending time by yourself and asking yourself some deep and complex questions. And when I say deep, I mean deep. When I say we're more than what we think we are, I think we hold, I'll use this word, powers to change those things in our lives that we want changed when we've had enough.
Well, it's like you said in a prior episode, believing the words that you say have power. It's true. You can speak encouragement to yourself that can push you towards a certain goal. Like, for example, I have a friend who has a problem with buying things. And when I say buying things, I'm not talking about like Walmart and just going and buying shoes constantly. I'm talking about somebody who, whenever he goes into a store, whether it's food, groceries, material items, he has to buy something. But one day, and this is the example of breaking those chains, of breaking free, he said to himself one day when he woke up, he said, "I'm going to stop buying things I don't need." He kept saying that to himself every day. And eventually the temptation to buy things he just stopped because he kept reminding himself to have discipline. And that's just one example. There are many examples that I've found of people who just say they're going to start doing things. I'm going to start working out more. I'm going to start eating right. I'm going to stop buying unnecessary things. And it takes time, but they do it. Because it builds I almost want to say, kind of like an emotional memory instead of a muscle memory, because it places that conviction of, I said I was going to do this. I'm not going to do it anymore.
So are you saying your words have power?
They can. I honestly believe words have power to certain degrees.
Absolutely, they do. So I also asked you another question, do words matter? Because I said I believe that words are not just a form of communication. So I know you kind of answered that here right now, but I had said in that podcast that 3 things that I believe is that words can and will change your circumstances. There is power in your words. And I think the third one is the hardest one, but like with your friend, what he did, right, is you have to speak what you want, not what you see or feel. And you said that you think that has, after a while, that is more like a discipline. It is. And we're going to get into a little bit more past the words tonight. So what we talked about was that words can bring change. They can bring life, health, peace, joy, faith, prosperity, and victory. But words can also bring death, sickness, depression, fear, confusion, weakness, and defeat. So it depends on which way you want to go.
Words are powerful, but like I said, with the example of the pipe, or with the water pipe, it all depends on how you direct it.
Mm-hmm. And words are easy. You can just speak things. And sometimes we say things without even realizing what we're saying. So you really got to be careful sometimes, especially if you're speaking over yourself.
Yeah, there is a subconscious thing to it. Like somebody can get mad at you and say, you're worthless, you didn't do that right. Even if you don't think directly of those words,
yes.
just the impact can bring you down a path you didn't want to go down.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And then eventually you'll start hearing those words constantly, the more mistakes you make.
Mm-hmm. You'll be like, oh, they were right.
Yep.
Yeah. So, you ready for today's podcast?
That was our introduction. We're very happy you're here.
That was great. So, in today's podcast, we're going to discuss your mind and your words.
Right.
So, we've already talked about the words a little bit, and we've kind of hinted on it about the mind being a part of it. The mind is a very powerful thing. And so I just want to say that to some, I know that this subject can be very controversial and hard to believe. And like Brian had said earlier, he doesn't know everything. And I'm also going to say that I don't know everything about all of this. There's a lot to this, and I'm digging deeper. I've told you that with this journey, I'm really digging deeper, and I'm finding that there are many layers to this, to the mind, to your words, to align yourself, to focus yourself, to find that energy that allows you to think the way you should. There's a lot to it. But I do believe that there is something to it.
Okay.
If you want to inject anything right now, we're good.
No, I'm interested to see what you...
What I have found out so far.
Mm.
Yeah, because yeah. So the quote that I had left you guys with last week was, or I at least had said was, what are the most powerful words in the universe? They are the ones you use to talk to yourself. Speak what you want, not what you fear. Because all fear is, it's false evidence appearing real, right? So it's not true, and it doesn't have to be. And you have to learn to speak to yourself nicely. Yes, to others, but to yourself too, because like we had talked about, we're our worst enemies, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've always said the both sides of it, where you are the most important person in your life, but you're also your own worst enemy.
That's right, because if you hate yourself and you speak to yourself like that, how can you love others if you can't love yourself? If you have no peace, how do you give others peace?
Yeah.
It's like being the jerk.
Yeah.
Obviously, that person doesn't have peace.
Yeah. It's a reflection.
Be the mirror, not the reflection.
That's deep.
Do you see where I'm going with all of this, Brian?
Yeah.
Be the mirror, not the reflection. So I told you about the story of the woman who had, with the glasses, right? That for 9 months, she kept saying that her eyes were 20/20. She had great vision, da-da-da. And one day, 9 months later, she found that she didn't need those glasses anymore. Now, you can take it however you want, whatever direction whatever. I'm just telling you, there is something to this.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't have really much to say about it, because it's something that I've never experienced myself, as far as like witnessing something like that happen. Yeah, I would borderline say that's on the side of a miracle. You know what I'm saying?
Could be, but maybe that's where miracles derive from.
But I
don't know.
But I do want to say that there are things that people do. I think I mentioned it, called placebos, where, like, for example, there was a guy I watched. I thought this was really funny. He had headaches, right? On occasion, he'd get headaches. So he had a pill bottle next to his desk, or on his desk, I should say. but instead of having pills in it, like actual medicine, he just put Tic Tacs in them.
Right.
And he would think to himself, that it was an actual bottle of headache medication.
Mm-hmm.
So when he got a headache coming on, he would just take a little bit of the Tic Tacs,
Mm-hmm.
and then within like 20, 30 minutes, his headache was gone.
Right.
But he would tell himself that they were actual,
worked.
that they were medication.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to advocate that pills don't do what they're supposed to do.
Right.
I'm just saying it's funny seeing placebo effects in action, because I've seen it, I've heard stories of it, and I do agree with some of what you say, where if somebody tells themselves something enough, their bodies can adjust to it. It's kind of like muscle memory.
Yes.
You tell yourself, I can not necessarily just tell yourself, but you start lifting a certain weight.
Right.
At first it's really heavy,
Mm-hmm.
but then eventually your body gets used to it, your muscles grow, you get stronger, but your muscles also learn to react to
Right.
that weight
Mm-hmm.
outside of working out.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard stories of people who, do a lot of weightlifting, and then when they go to like competitions, for example, where they have very similar repetitions,
Mm-hmm.
their bodies will automatically react to the weight and the
Because it
force,
just knows.
because your muscles learn
Right.
to adapt to
Right.
that motion.
Right.
Sometimes even if the object is even heavier than what they practice with,
Mm-hmm.
their muscles still react the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe that
There's something to it.
our bodies and our minds and our words can influence
Right.
our bodies in such a way to
Right.
where we can adapt to our situations.
Right. And I'll throw this in there, which will be part of another podcast, because I'm looking into this right now. But we talked a little bit about energy, but frequency. We are energy and frequency. So the thing is this, and I will mention it this way, and again, we'll get into it a little deeper, but they say that frequencies can heal people. Like there's certain frequencies of music that people play to do that.
There's also,
I don't know a lot about it. I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe that's where all this part of it derives from.
I do know, and I do believe you, because there's a trope in the horror franchise of like movies
Okay.
where they'll use particular sounds and frequencies that will amplify
See
the
what I
horror
mean?
response in the brain.
This is what I'm talking about.
And it's even been seen that certain frequencies can calm the mind,
Yep.
can calm emotion. And it's interesting how people don't have to just act a certain way, but if you surround yourself in the right atmosphere, and I mean that could be music, frequencies, whatever that case may be. Like, I'm not going to go superstitious on this, but it's actual documented that
It
there
is.
are certain sounds and frequencies that can either have a calming response or a fear response.
So why can't your words create the same thing if they're powerful? Because don't words work off frequency?
I think it's more based off of like tone and the emotional hit behind them. Like if you encourage yourself, it can make you feel better about yourself. It's like it's like my friend who just beat herself down all the time.
Yep.
The more she involves those words with the way that she thinks, the further down
Your
she
body
goes.
will react to those things.
Yeah,
Is that a frequency thing?
it could be. It could be a frequency thing. I think there probably could be more to it.
There is more to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm learning.
Mm.
And it's I guess when I say to you, Brian, it's deeper than what I personally have ever thought of, is because you're not, okay, I'll speak for me, maybe for you too. Yeah, probably for you too, is I wasn't raised in that. So this is all new to me. It's all retraining.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And I guess that kind of leads into my next point, is with retraining yourself, being raised in the religion that I was raised in. They always told you, I've always been told, just believe. That's faith.
Mm.
But let me ask you this. What if believing isn't enough? And you'll understand in a minute. So I told you when Mom passed away, that was when everything changed for me, right? This is when I started getting into all this deep thinking where we are kind of at now. And here's what people would say to me: just believe that she'll get better, and she will.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? She didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and although there's nothing I can do, to change what happened, that's where all of this thinking came from, because I'm thinking to myself, so if having faith was just enough and it didn't work, what was missing? What are the keys to what was missing? It's not just having faith, and faith is believing, but obviously it wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
Do I believe that our words can change our situation? Absolutely. I believe our words do, but I also believe that them two separately don't change anything. You can believe all you want, but if you don't speak what you believe, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. You can say it all you want, but if you don't believe it, do you see what I mean? They have to work together. You can't just believe and not speak, and you can't just speak and not believe.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with me? I mean, I don't care if you agree with me or not. I'm just telling you this is stuff I'm finding out.
I think within a certain frame of mind, yeah, like a realm of realism. I think so.
Well, what is there other than the realm of realism?
Well, it's like if somebody, I can give an extreme example, so bear with me. But let's say you got into a very serious, I don't know, you got into a serious accident, and you're done. Like you're done. You know what I mean? I don't know how far I can go with the words, so just kind of bear with me. No matter how much you say or think, it's not like your limbs can get reattached. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a level.
You don't think so? You don't think anyone could ever find their way into that realm?
I guess it would depend on the context. I'm not talking about somebody that just got got hurt in a factory accident. I'm talking about like beyond repair. Like let's use frostbite. Frostbite's a really good example. Frostbite destroys nerves, it destroys skin, it destroys everything. And I've never, and unless somebody can prove me wrong in the comments, but I have never seen anybody recover like fingers from severe frostbite. Like their fingers don't just start working again. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I think there is a level where these things don't work, not because they can't, but because it's just beyond the realm of what a body is capable of doing. A body can't bring back flesh that's gone. Like there's in the medical field, and we're getting kind of medical here, there are some things that even the smartest doctors on earth can't bring back.
Oh, absolutely. I believe, yes, absolutely. But where does the realm of miracles lie?
Well, I guess it would depend on your definition of miracle. I mean, now we're getting into the...
Now we're going deep.
Now we're getting into the spiritual aspect
exactly.
of it. And spiritual constructs, yeah, I agree that miracles can happen regardless of whether or not you have faith or not. I've seen some pretty interesting things that I can't explain. But regardless, there are things that I've seen that could have been a miracle that weren't.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you define a failed miracle versus a successful one?
That's what I'm talking about. And where is that line?
I mean, we're getting...
Can you live beyond that veil?
Well, now, is a person capable of immortality? The body, as far as I'm aware, no one has ever lived to be 300.
I know we're going probably deeper than we planned on, but this is, and maybe we'll back the train up a little because I'm looking into a lot of this stuff. And I'm not trying to be weird. I'm just saying.
When you stick to the realm of like, can words alter your self-perception? I 100% agree.
Right?
But if you're telling me that if, I don't want to get morbid, but like being morbid is like the only way I can describe it. If I destroyed an entire limb beyond recognition, no matter what I say or do, that limb ain't coming back. Are you suggesting that they do?
I'm suggesting that there's more than we think. And
I would agree.
that's all I know right now.
And
I don't have an answer for you. I wish I did.
Mm-hmm.
But the further I go, the deeper I dig. See, faith wasn't enough for me, Brian, with Mom. The words weren't enough. If you want to talk about faith, she should have never died because I had enough faith for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So there was something missing. Now, was it her time? See, these are all questions that I'm not just asking you, I'm asking myself. Because we talk about how much power we have with our words and our mind. And I think there's more keys missing. I think there's more.
Mm-hmm.
I can't give you any more than what I've given you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, I agree to a point.
I know.
Like I would sit here and absolutely say that a person's words and their mindset can alter their well-being 100%. Or destroy it. But you're definitely going in a direction that I was not expecting.
Yeah. Penny's digging deep. I need answers. Maybe it's just the place where I am right now. I don't know. Am I going to apologize for it? Nope, I'm not. I don't know. But I'm going to keep looking. So anyway, but I also believe that, yes, it's not just your word, but like we were just talking about, Brian, it does involve changing your mindset. So what do I mean when I say it involves changing your mindset? You can't just say something without believing it in your mind. It's your thinking and it's your thoughts. So we're going to look at both. So your thinking and your thoughts have to change and line up with your words. Mm-hmm. When you use your words with your thinking and your thoughts, that's faith. We're just going to talk on that line. Because again, going deeper requires me doing a little bit more research. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I looked up the difference between thinking and thoughts. So thinking is the process of using one's mind to consider or reason about something. Thoughts are an idea or an opinion produced by thinking. So it's deeper, right? Mm-hmm. Or occurring suddenly in the mind. So did you want to add anything right now, or do you want me to keep going?
No, keep going.
Okay. So I think one of our hindrances, Brian, we've been discussing words, is with our thoughts. And what do you think is the number one thing that hinders our thoughts? I'm not talking about thinking. What hinders our thoughts?
I guess it would depend on the context of a thought. Like I could sit here and say emotions can hinder thoughts. Okay.
How about believing in something? Like you use your words to believe for something. Mm-hmm. And you're thinking positive, trying to bring that thing to be. But what is the one thing that would stop your thought? What do you have inside you that usually changes that? I can answer it for you.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm curious.
Yeah, doubt.
How do you define how deep doubt can go? Like, for example, I can sit there and believe all I want that when I wake up, I'm going to have $2 million in my bank account. That doesn't mean that I'm going to do it. I got to put in the effort to put that $2 million in there. You know what I'm saying?
But you've already had the thoughts, so just keep going with it. Maybe in time that will happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that would require me to do something other than just thinking.
And I'm not saying that it wouldn't require action.
Right.
But the doubt is what kills the thought.
I think the doubt I think the doubt brings discouragement.
Yes, because you stop talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
The minute that doubt comes in, it does bring discouragement, and then you do stop speaking the way you should. But like you said, it may take effort, but it may also take time. And most people give up. And there's reasons why we give up.
I guess maybe the 2 million was a bad example. I could say I can believe and think all I want that I'll be able to fly. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to sprout wings the next day.
Right?
So that's what I mean when I said earlier there's like a limit.
Okay.
The ground foundation of expectation versus reality. I'm never going to sprout wings out of my back and fly. Now, does that not mean that I can't achieve some kind of flight? Yeah, I can fly on a plane.
Well,
I can go skydiving. I guess that would technically be falling with style, but
what about people who have had out-of-body experiences? Or what about people who have...
again, you're veering into the supernatural. And the problem with the supernatural is that it's something that can be talked about but can't be explicitly proven. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can tell you that I had an out-of-body experience, but how do you really know I did?
You did. What about that time we hit the deer or the moose or whatever?
Well, again, that could have been a dream. Could have been, you know, but it also couldn't have been. It's something that I've noticed that spiritual things can be experienced in very specific circumstances. Because I do personally, you want me to be honest with you, since we've gotten on the topic, I do believe in spiritual things.
Yes.
I believe the supernatural is very real.
It is.
But it's something that can't be, I guess the best way to describe it would be like scientifically proven. You know,
does it need to be? To be real?
Not necessarily to be real, but like, imagine how amazing it would be if supernatural things could be proven 110%. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so I'm not talking about time travel, but what about people that get, what is that word when you can, is it trans?
Astral project?
No. Like, go from one place to another.
Teleport?
Maybe that's it. Translate it. I don't know.
I think in some language it can be considered translation, but
yeah,
it's basically teleportation.
Okay. How do you explain that?
How can they explain to me that they did it?
So
let's assume somebody walked up to me and said, "Hey, I've teleported before." Prove it.
So how would you define what happened to you?
It was a personal experience. Just because you believe it happened and I believe it happened doesn't mean that it actually
of course it
can be proven.
It doesn't need to be proven. I was there.
Well, yeah, but you weren't in my point of view, I guess you could say.
You explained it to me.
Yeah, I know that, Mom. But again, the example of somebody, my example is very specific. I'm talking about somebody that, like, if somebody walked up to you and said that you do not know this person at all. If they just walked up to you and said, "Hey, I can teleport," you just going to believe them?
No, I'm going to tell them to show me how they did it.
Exactly, and they probably won't be able to. They'll probably just tell you, "Oh, well, it's something that I do behind closed doors." You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
What was that face? Are you saying you don't believe me, or
No, because I'm reacting to their answer. It's what I do behind closed doors.
Well, you see what I'm saying, right?
I do, yeah.
Like that's what I mean when I say there's a level of realism that needs to be applied to things, because anybody can say anything. That doesn't mean it happened.
Exactly.
I'm talking about external things. Like, yes, I would wage that there's a lot of people in life that have had experiences that they cannot explain.
Sure.
Or circumstances that seemed way outside of the realm of possibility.
Absolutely. We both have.
But regardless of personal, I'm talking about the people that have claimed it and haven't. There's no way to prove it. Again, with the example of the guy that teleports. Or I can even give you a spiritual example, or not a spiritual example, an example that I had heard. I didn't witness this myself, but it was from a church. So I guess I could say a religious example. There was a person who claimed to have had a heart condition.
Okay.
But he never had surgery. He just claimed to have had a heart condition. But he had no like proof to show that, hey, here's my documentation, of saying that in 3 weeks my heart's going to fail, right? Like he didn't show anybody anything.
Okay.
And this testimony that was from his daughter, she called him out. But he went to a church to get prayer to have his heart healed. After they prayed for him, he claimed, I'm healed, I'm healed. And he's jumping around, running up and down the aisle. 2 weeks later, he died. Because he was old. He was an older guy. But he claimed in that moment that he got healed. And I don't know if, obviously this goes into some territory of like fraudulence. But even the pastor like put his hand on his chest and felt his heart beating. He's like, your heart sounds refreshed. But then after he worked himself up, his health deteriorated, and his daughter came out and was like, he never should have been up there to begin with. He was an 80-year-old man. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. You have no evidence to suggest your claims. You're claiming something that nobody has proven or can be proven, and then what happens later down the road is what everybody should have expected. AKA the example of the teleporting guy. Claims to have been able to teleport, tells you he can teleport, he can't prove it, and then he just goes on to live his life.
So are you saying that, take the teleporter person, just because he can't prove it doesn't mean it can't happen?
If you can show me one person on planet Earth that can teleport, I'd love to meet him.
I'm just saying. Things happen, Brian.
I'm not saying they don't. Like I already said, that there are things that have been like that have video documented of things that are completely unexplainable. But when it comes to the things of human reality, like no man will ever be able to teleport in and of themselves. Maybe one day we'll have the technology to do it, but here's another extreme example. You can't take a human being and throw him into the vacuum of space and expect him to be okay. Or you can't jump into water and be like, I can breathe underwater now, and take a deep gulp of water and just all of a sudden be a fish. That's what I mean. Like, I'm not invalidating the points of, I guess, what you would define as a miracle.
Right.
I'm defining the reality of human physical limitation. And if somebody does, like, let me grant you this. Let's say there was a person who did have severe frostbite, going back to the frostbite scenario, and he had his fingers amputated. If somebody had had the experience of their fingers growing back, then I would say, if he used like faith, for example, or thought or words or whatever you want to put on it to get them back, then I would completely agree. But as far as I am aware, limbs don't grow back on humans. So you
just want proof. You want proof. And that's okay.
Not necessarily proof, but like, well, maybe proof is the right word. I was going to say positive validation, but I guess that's the same thing. But yeah, there would have to be, like, I'm not saying faith is defined by physical proof. I'm saying that within certain realms of reality, words and belief cannot regrow limbs or allow a person to fly or breathe underwater. You know what I'm getting at? That's what I mean.
And I was going to ask you a question, but I'm not. I'll save that for another podcast because that's going to take us even deeper.
Oh, now I'm interested.
I'm not touching that one. Okay, so I had said that I believe that our thoughts, one of the hindrances is doubt. But I also believe that when you speak what you want, your thoughts also have to line up without any doubt. And the reason I think that there's doubt is because we've always been taught hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that, because really what we should be saying is hope for the best and expect the best. I think we have to learn to change our thoughts to be our dominant thoughts and continue to speak over those things.
I don't really take that as a negative context, though. Expect the best, assume the worst. I don't think that's necessarily.
I think it can be.
Well, no.
It's going to cause you to doubt.
Well, it might cause doubt, but at the same time, for me, when I use that quote, I look at it as I'm speaking that I'm going to have a good day, but if something bad happens, I'm not disappointed. Like, what would bring more doubt? Expecting something bad to happen, or expecting it to be a good day and then something bad happens?
Right, but that, to me, that's not deep enough. So when I say that you hope for the best and expect the best, I'm thinking more in the realm of like that lady with the eyeglasses. That's what I'm talking about. Eventually, she did get what she wanted, which was to be able to see without her glasses. And it took a long time for that to manifest, and that's fine. But I'm not talking about a bad day compared to your eyesight going to 20/20.
So let's assume, we're going to play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Let's assume that it worked for her, but it doesn't work for the person next to her.
I got no answer.
And see, that's the
Was
thing.
it doubt?
Could it have been?
I can use my situation with Mom. What's the deal there?
What do you mean?
No, I told you I had all the faith for her to live.
Am I allowed to say what she had on here? I don't know if everybody knows.
I said it in a podcast.
You did?
Yeah.
I mean, without the sounding like I'm being insensitive, I mean, she had severe stomach cancer. Like, do you know how cancer works?
I do. But what about the miracle? What causes the miracle to happen? This is what I'm saying. If your words have power.
I don't think miracles are that deep.
Are you kidding me? Oh, I think they can be.
Well, then why don't they happen all the time?
I don't know. These are the answers.
Well, I've seen people that you could claim that had extreme faith. I would say the faith you had was good enough.
Really?
Yeah. Like, unless we have like an actual like therapy session as to every single thought you had, I don't see anything that happened that would have suggested that you gave up. You see where I'm coming from?
Oh, I do. I see both sides, Brian. And I'm not sitting here telling you that I have all the answers. I'm just telling you.
Right.
Is there something more to this?
Well, when I say miracles aren't that deep, and I guess for those of you watching that aren't religious, I apologize to go down this path. But I guess I'll speak to the purely religious here. Is, you know, faith is something that is very easily achievable. And I think the power of faith supersedes any doubt that the human mind can comprehend.
Even if you don't get the result you expected?
Well, the result you expect, how do you define what is, how do you define what is planned versus what is wanted?
That's what I'm saying. How do you know when it's just supposed to be?
I think.
Opposed to getting the miracle.
Well, how do you know both paths aren't a part of the same road?
I see what you're saying. That was the miracle.
I wouldn't define it as a miracle. I'm defining that as it's just life. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, whether you're a part of any religious group or any just normal Joe, nobody ever said life would be easy.
Can it be?
No one ever said it would be one or the other. In fact, I would even dare say that I've heard it said that those who live this life will have trouble.
I see what you're doing. All right, we're going to continue from there.
For those of
I
you that are
know.
unaware, when it comes to this stuff, I am a bit of a scholar. Like I don't like to play the Debbie Downer, but she's getting into some territory that I'm very familiar with.
I know, and
I'm trying to keep it respectful, but also trying to keep it real.
we're like, there's the line, back on. Okay,
Yeah.
so we talked about words, obviously, dominant thoughts that are dominant. But I think, Brian, with a dominant thought, okay, and the difference for me is not just having a thought, but it's your dominant thought to me is it's something that you continually speak over that situation. It's what you believe will and can happen.
Mm-hmm.
The problem, I think, with the hope for the best, prepare for the worst is I think we should be telling ourselves we are deserving of good things. We are worthy of good things.
Oh, as far as human life is incredibly valuable, and I think humans individually, and as a collective, I guess, we need to uphold ourselves to a standard of well-being. Anybody who says to anybody else that they're not worthy of life is demeaning all life in general, because now you're just drawing lines in the sand.
Well, what about the good things that come with it?
Such as, give me an example.
Well, you can have a good life, but maybe what your good life means to you and good life to someone else, it may look different depending on where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, you talk about money, and I'm not trying to say it in a selfish way because I don't think money should ever be a selfish thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, people who need it more than others, why can't they be deserving or worthy of it?
You could see it come down to decisions, life circumstances, but it's like I've come close to being homeless before, and I know a lot of people who are, and I'm speaking this through experience, and obviously I'm putting this in a general term because I know everybody's situation is different. So if anybody knows a homeless person who's in that position from outside choices, feel free to give input on it, of course. But from the people that I know and then my circumstance, it was things and choices that I made.
Okay.
So putting yourself in a circumstance of doubt, where it brought you to a place you didn't want to be, at that point, I would say it just comes down to choice.
Okay. And I understand where you're coming from.
Like, why does the negative result have to be the final one?
That's where I'm trying to take you to. Why does it always have to be the negative? Why does it always have to be the bad? Why does it always have to be the worst? Why can't it be the positive? Why can't it be the good? Why can't it be the best?
Well, you could always take a bad situation and turn it around for good. I think a bad situation stays bad when you allow it to. It's like in the case of my friend.
Okay.
Just because she went as far as she did in the conversation where she started beating herself down doesn't mean that at any point before the conversation ended that she could have stopped and got herself on the right path. But she continued.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, metaphorically speaking, I let go of the rope. Both decisions, both mine and hers, were choices.
There you go. There you go. So it is an individual thing. Yes, we can say that. But I think each individual path is also going to take us in those, and what we believe as an individual is where our end result's going to take us.
And that's up to the individual.
Exactly.
It's just like her path. Just because I washed my hands of the situation doesn't mean her journey's over.
Right. Dig deep, friends. Dig deep. So, I believe, Brian, that all of this comes down to a literal transformation. We talked about being more than what we think we are. It may seem to be difficult to change our minds because of things that we've been taught or things that we've been told. But in time, I think we can, and I think we will. I think it is a transformation. And it's kind of like the butterfly thing that you always talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And before I read the last thing that I wanted to read tonight, do you have anything you want to add to that?
I guess really it would just come down to like clarification for those of people that didn't know about the butterfly thing. So it's allowing yourself to become surrounded by what you would probably perceive as a negative situation to come out on as something better. Instead of letting yourself stay trapped inside of a wall, allowing yourself to break free and become something new. New can be good.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to become the person you don't want to be, but becoming the person you don't want to be can oftentimes, in a positive way, can help you become the person you wanted to be all along.
Exactly. It is an individual journey for everyone. You just have to find your...
You just have to find the right place to set up your cocoon.
There it is. Yeah, so I'm going to read this because I guess I'll say it this way, is so where are we now? And the name of this, it's not a story, it's a quote, is where we are here. The stage between who we were and who we are becoming, where it feels uncomfortable, uncertain, and sometimes downright painful. It is easy to forget that transformation doesn't feel like growth. It feels like falling apart. The cocoon isn't glamorous. It's dark, quiet, and full of surrender. But this is where the magic happens, where the old story dissolves and the wings begin to form. So it feels heavy right now. Just know you're in the middle of becoming something beautiful. Keep going. It's all worth it.
I agree.
Yeah. We went in some pretty heavy directions, and
We did.
it could have gotten a lot heavier, but
I would argue it went to places that I didn't think it would go.
you okay with that?
You're the host.
Thank you. Don't forget that. I'm just kidding. I'm on a journey, Brian.
We all are. We all have different stages in that journey.
Exactly. We're all at different stages in that cocoon, aren't we?
We indeed are.
Yeah. Anything you want to add before we wrap this up?
No. I'm
All
good.
right. So again, I just want to read our quote like I always do. Believe in yourself, be patient with yourself, and know that your best is always good enough. Again, we can be found on many different platforms like YouTube, Spotify, X, Apple. Now we have a Facebook it's called Give 'em Heck Podcast. TikTok at Give 'em Heck Official. And please like, share, subscribe, and turn on any notifications so you don't miss another video. And again, feel free to email us at giveemheck@gmail.com.
Or leave us a comment on any of those social media platforms. We'd love to hear your responses to
To
not
any
just
of
this episode,
I
but
want to hear what people have
everything.
to say about this.
Yeah. We look forward to hearing your responses.
Yes.
Next week, we will be having a live stream.
Mm-hmm.
We will be posting announcements on a couple of our platforms. We don't have several yet. A couple of our platforms to let everybody know when we'll be going live. So feel free to follow those social media platforms wherever is more convenient for you. And we will see you next week.
Yes, we will. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.